In my county, there's an Old Quarry Lake. At its deepest point, it's more than 50 feet deep. The shockingly clear water lets you see most of the lake bottom. When you're swimming there, it looks like a forest of lakeweed far below your feet. Then it drops off into the pit. The pit is what we call the deepest point of the lake. It's far too dark to see the bottom there. There are a plethora of urban legends surrounding the pit, from mafia body dumping to a great sea serpent that sleeps at the very bottom. I personally don't lend much credibility to these legends, because the quarry is still the #1 swim destination for locals in the summer. I often swim there, but after dark, when I have the place to myself. I love to float in the middle of the lake and gaze up at the stars, letting the refreshingly cool water carry me. The air is still hot, but there's no risk of sunburn. The moon and stars turn the calm waters into a silver and indigo work of art. The woods around the quarry are full of fireflies that dance and flit among the trees. It's the perfect way to unwind after a long day at work. This is where I found myself on a Friday night. The day had been unforgivingly hot, almost reaching 40 degrees at noon. The water was so deep that it almost always stayed cool though. There I was, floating over the pit, air stiflingly hot above, water blissfully cool below, my legs hanging over the abyss, the stars shining brighter than they ever could in the city. A tickle. Something brushed my ankle, ever so daintily. My body went tense, pulse racing, fear, blind panic, cold fire in my veins as I flailed like a fish out of water, kicking, escape, swim. But how? Fire in my lungs as I forgot how to breathe. I coughed up water as I managed to get my bearings. I swam for the shore, the dark water no longer welcomingly cool. It was cold. The cold weighed my limbs down as I swam, exhaustion threatening to drag me down to the very bottom of the pit. But I was halfway there. Something touched my ankle, almost managing to grab it. I kicked frantically, my foot connecting with something slimy and covered in lakeweed. I swam faster, the water seeming to get colder to the point where it felt like icy fire. I felt myself slowing down. The cold and exhaustion were getting to be too much for my body. No, I had to go on, just a little further. I had to get away. The thing was right behind me. I could feel its presence. A hand gripped my ankle, pulling me underwater towards the pit. My panic scream was cut off as my head went underwater. Water filled my lungs, cold and burning. I choked, wanting to vomit. The light of the moon grew dimmer the farther down I went. The pressure built up, my ears aching as I felt myself being crushed. I kicked, connecting with the hand holding me. Oh, it was strong. I flailed and kicked, air escaping my tightly shut lips as I resisted the urge to scream. Finally, I managed to wiggle free. Adrenaline burned in my blood, fear propelling me to the surface where I gasped and drank in deep lungfuls of the sweet night air. I made it to the shore, gasping and spluttering. I dragged myself out of the lake, collapsing on the shore. I sat there, catching my breath, relieved to have escaped. A shape broke the surface. My heart stopped. It was too dark to make out what it was, but it was getting closer. I scrambled to my feet, running for my car. It looked slow, but it was coming for me. I cut my feet on gravel as I internally thanked myself for leaving my purse under the driver's seat and the car unlocked. I made it to the car, locking the doors and scrambling for my keys. I yanked out my purse, hearing the distinct sounds of keys falling to the floor. Oh, shit. I fell to the floor, reaching under the seat. I saw my glow-in-the-dark keychain just out of my reach. No. I sobbed as the chain rested inches from my grasp. I looked to the window, seeing that the thing had already made it out of the water. It was approaching quickly, staggering on legs that hadn't been used on land for a long time. Then, I remembered it. I have a jacket hanging up in the back seat, on a coat hanger. Yes, the coat hanger. I sprung into the back, snatching the hanger. The thing was circling my car. God, I could smell it. It stank of rotted meat and lake scum. But wait, how could I smell it? My heart dropped as I realized. The window. The passenger side window was open a crack. I doubled my speed, reaching under the seat uncoordinatedly with the hanger. It hooked onto my keyring as I heard a soft, wet sound coming from my window. I grabbed the keys, looking up and seeing the monster's face pressed against the glass, a rotted arm reaching in through the opening. I screamed. All I could do was scream and scream as I gazed into that horrible face. It may have once been human, but years of rotting at the bottom of the pit had reduced it to a fleshy pulp. Lakeweed hung from what remained of pale grey flesh. Black teeth grinned out from its exposed jaw. Its eye sockets were occupied with a pale blue fire. They stared at me with a deep hunger as the fleshless arm reached for me. The mouth opened, filthy water pouring out and spilling in a black waterfall down the thing's chest. A gurgling moan escaped from deep within it. I jammed the key into the ignition, slamming the car into gear. The thing seemed to realize what I was doing and retracted its arm at shocking speed. It managed to get out of the way as I slammed on the gas and tore out of the parking lot. I sped home, tears of horror pouring from my eyes. When I arrived, I got into the shower, not leaving until I'd washed away all of the horrible clinging chill. I looked down, realizing, to my horror, that my ankle was stained black from the thing's grip. No matter how hard I scrubbed, the stain wouldn't come out of my flesh. I sat in the tub and cried. I was still shaking from fear when I heard the front door open. No. Stupid. Why the hell did I leave the fucking door unlocked? Habit? Yeah, we don't lock our doors around here. I jumped out of the tub, slipping on a puddle on the floor. I grabbed the bathroom door handle and locked it, then pushed a chair against it for good measure. God, how did it find me? My car? It recognized my car. The car I didn't put in the garage today. Oh, God. I can hear it outside now. It's trying to get in. I'm curled up, wrapped in a towel in the corner. There isn't a phone in here. Maybe I can wait until someone notices I'm gone. Yes, I'm supposed to visit my parents tomorrow. I don't think it can get in before then. Maybe they'll call the cops? God, please let them call the cops. I need someone to find me. Thank you so much for choosing to spend your time listening to me. Now, Now, if you enjoyed the Dr. Creepen experience, then come find me on Facebook. Come chat with me on Twitter. Listen to the background music and download it if you like on SoundCloud. Drop by the store, pick up a t-shirt. And, importantly, if you've got a story you'd like me to read, send it to Dr. Creepen's Vault, the subreddit I set up so that I could read your stories. Now, looking forward to seeing you all again real soon. So, come check me out, okay?